Every single week, roughly 40 million Americans walk into a warehouse club and head straight for the meat department. They load their carts with 3-pound trays of bacon, 6-pound bags of frozen chicken, and those iconic rotisserie birds spinning behind the deli glass. The math feels obvious. Bulk pricing, family-size packs, savings you can see right there on the price tag. But here's what's not on that price tag. Injected saltwater you're paying meat prices for. Carcinogenic preservatives that the European Union is actively banning, and a chicken processing plant that has failed Salmonella safety standards in up to 100% of reporting periods. We pulled the ingredient labels, the USDA inspection records, the 2025 and 2026 recall data, and the EU's latest regulatory framework, and we found 10 Costco meats you need to stop buying immediately. But stay until the end, because we also found 3 products the butcher counter doesn't advertise, and they could save your family over $700 a year. Number 10. Golden Island pork jerky and white oak pastures. Ground beef. These 2 products share the same problem: catastrophic equipment failure at the factory level. In October 2025, the USDA recalled over 2.27 million pounds of that Golden Island Korean barbecue pork jerky after consumers found sharp, wiry metal fragments embedded directly in the dried meat. The metal came from a disintegrating conveyor belt inside the production facility. Months later, in March 2026, White Oak Pasture's grass-fed ground beef triggered a separate public health alert for the exact same issue: metallic contamination in vacuum-sealed packaging. This isn't a one-off. When you buy heavily processed jerky or high-volume ground meat, the industrial grinding and dehydration process creates dozens of mechanical failure points where equipment fragments can end up inside your food. Number 9. Costco deli meatloaf with mashed potatoes. This ready-to-eat meal kit triggered a massive Class 1 recall across 26 states in March 2026. The culprit wasn't even the meat itself. It was a third-party glaze ingredient supplied by Griffith Foods that was contaminated with salmonella. And that's the hidden danger of pre-assembled deli meals. Even if the ground beef is theoretically safe, the commercial glazes, seasoning packets, and bulk potato sides create a biological minefield. You have no idea how many sub-ingredient supply chains are feeding into that single plastic tray. The fix is simple and saves you money. Buy the Kirkland signature 8515 organic ground beef and a bag of Yukon potatoes. Build it at home. Total control over every ingredient. Number 8. Foster Farms and Tyson frozen chicken products. If it's battered, frozen, and mass-produced, the recall history is terrifying. In 2022, Foster Farms recalled 148,000 pounds of frozen chicken patties sold at Costco after consumers found sharp plastic shards embedded in the meat. Then, in October 2025, Foster Farms recalled nearly 4 million pounds of chicken corn dogs after customers and their children bit into wooden fragments baked directly into the batter. Tyson has mirrored these failures with nearly 100,000 pounds of ground beef recalled for mirror-like metallic material in the same period. The pattern is clear. Ultra-processed, battered poultry products go through so many mechanical extrusion and flash freezing steps that foreign object contamination is practically built into the production model. Skip the pre-battered stuff entirely and buy whole, unprocessed cuts. Number 7. Kirkland Signature Smoked Pulled Pork. This vacuum-sealed 2-pound pouch runs anywhere from $14 to $20. And the ingredient list tells you exactly why you should walk past it. Pork, water, salt, spice extract, and sodium nitrite. That's a synthetic curing agent in a fully cooked product that you're supposed to reheat at high temperature. That reheating process is precisely when nitrites react with meat proteins to form nitrosamines, compounds the World Health Organization classifies as Group 1 human carcinogens. Beyond the chemistry, the texture tells its own story. Because this pork sits submerged in its own fluids for weeks inside that vacuum seal, the muscle fibers break down into a greasy, gelatinous mess that consistently fails blind taste tests. Here's the insider move. Buy a raw Kirkland pork shoulder for about $2.29 a pound. Throw it in a slow cooker for 8 hours. You get better flavor, 0 synthetic preservatives, and you're paying a fraction of the price. Number 6. Kirkland Signature Lightly Breaded Chicken Breast Chunks. The marketing says lightly breaded. The ingredient label says otherwise. This 4-pound bag is loaded with canola oil, soybean oil, rice starch, wheat flour, modified baking powders, and non-fat dry milk, all wrapped around chicken that's been flash-fried in vegetable oil. Those industrial seed oils are highly unstable. When they're subjected to the extreme heat of commercial frying and then reheated in your air fryer, they undergo severe lipid oxidation, a major driver of systemic vascular inflammation. And despite the lightly claim, the breading-to-meat ratio is padded with cheap starches to inflate the package weight with carbohydrates instead of actual protein. Buy raw chicken breasts. Cube them. Hit them with an egg wash and panko, and air fry them yourself. You eliminate the oxidized oils completely. If any of this is making you rethink what's in your Costco cart, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. We break down exactly what's hiding in the food you buy every single week. Now let's get into the top 5, because these are the ones that affect the most families. Number 5. Kirkland Signature Chicken Breast Tenderloins. This 6-pound frozen bag looks like a straightforward protein purchase. But flip it over and read the fine print. Boneless, skinless chicken tenderloins contains up to an 8% solution of water and kosher salt. That's the industry practice called plumping. They inject the chicken with salt water through mechanical needles to artificially inflate the weight. In a 6-pound bag, 8% means you're buying nearly half a pound of pure salt water at $4.89 a pound. That's $2.34 per bag wasted on liquid that evaporates the second it hits a hot pan. And it's not just your wallet. That injection spikes the sodium to 160 milligrams per serving, compared to roughly 50 milligrams in unaltered chicken. The fix is already in the same warehouse. Buy Kirkland Signature air-chilled fresh chicken breasts instead. Air chilling skips the water bath entirely, so every pound you pay for is actual meat. Number 4. Kirkland Signature Mild Italian Sausage. At $25.99 for a 56-ounce package of 14 links, the bulk value looks unbeatable. But one grilled link delivers 260 calories, 20 grams of total fat, 8 grams of saturated fat, and 630 milligrams of sodium. That single link exhausts roughly 40% of your daily saturated fat limit and hammers your kidneys with sodium. The ingredient list also hides behind the FDA's natural flavors umbrella, an opaque term that obscures the exact chemical compounds used to engineer palatability. A significantly cleaner swap is Aidel's chicken sausage, which is frequently available at the exact same warehouse. Lean poultry protein, dramatically lower saturated fat, and transparent ingredient sourcing. Number 3. Kirkland Signature Thick Sliced Bacon. 3 pounds for roughly $18.79. The ingredient list reads like an industrial chemistry textbook. Pork, water, salt, sodium phosphate, brown sugar, sodium erythorbate, and sodium nitrite. Here's the specific danger. When you pan-fry bacon cured with sodium nitrite at high heat, the breakdown of meat proteins releases amines. Those amines bind with the nitrites to form N-nitrosamines, compounds definitively identified as human carcinogens. One single slice delivers 260 milligrams of sodium. A standard 3-slice breakfast hits you with 780 milligrams before you've even poured your coffee. And that sodium phosphate? It's a moisture retention agent. The processor is selling you retained water at the per-pound price of pork. The European Union's EFSA is actively phasing down nitrite levels right now under Regulation 2023/2108, effective October 2025, because the science on nitrosamines is settled. The only truly safe move is sourcing pasture-raised bacon from an independent butcher who skips the synthetic curing entirely. Number 2. Kirkland Signature Beef Dinner. Franks. These quarter-pound plus hot dogs come in a massive 3.81-pound package of 14 links. The ingredient list includes beef, water, dextrose, salt, spices, sodium lactate, sodium diacetate, sodium erythorbate, and, once again, sodium nitrite. One single whole link floods your system with over 1,060 milligrams of sodium and 12 grams of saturated fat. That's nearly half your entire daily sodium allowance in a single hot dog. These Franks are manufactured at Costco's own vertically integrated meat plant in Tracy, California. Under the EU's 2025 nitrite phase-down, this formulation would face immediate legal restrictions in the European common market. A cleaner alternative with real grass-fed beef is Teton Waters Ranch hot dogs, though they run about $6.50 for 10 ounces compared to Kirkland's bulk pricing. Number 1. Kirkland Signature Seasoned Rotisserie Chicken. The $4.99 bird, the most famous loss leader in American retail. and the most controversial meat product in Costco's entire portfolio. The ingredient list goes well beyond whole chicken. You're also getting sodium phosphates, carrageenan, hydrolyzed casein, modified cornstarch, isolated soy protein, and mono and diglycerides, all injected into that bird to force it to retain artificially pumped water. A single 3-ounce serving delivers 460 milligrams of sodium. A realistic portion, one breast or leg quarter, pushes you well past 1,000 milligrams in a single sitting. That's nearly half the American Heart Association's daily limit from one piece of chicken. But the real bombshell is the supply chain. Costco built a $450 million processing plant in Fremont, Nebraska called Lincoln Premium Poultry. According to USDA inspection data analyzed by the nonprofit Farm Forward, that plant has failed Salmonella safety standards, earning the worst possible Category 3 rating in 92 to 100% of reporting periods through 2025. A proposed USDA rule that would have declared Salmonella an adulterant and given regulators the power to shut down failing plants was officially withdrawn in April 2025. On top of that, a class action lawsuit filed in San Diego alleges the chicken was marketed as containing no preservatives, despite explicitly listing sodium phosphate and carrageenan on the label. The alternative is straightforward. Buy a raw Kirkland Signature organic whole chicken for about $2.99 a pound and roast it yourself. You eliminate the saline injection, the synthetic stabilizers, and the pathogen risk from that specific Nebraska facility. Meats the butcher counter doesn't advertise. Now here's where the warehouse actually earns its membership fee, because when you stop buying the processed stuff and start understanding how the butcher counter really works, the savings are massive. Best pick number 1. Kirkland Signature USDA Prime Beef. Prime is the absolute top of the USDA grading scale, awarded to roughly the top 2 to 4% of all beef produced in the country. Most supermarkets don't even stock it. Costco does, consistently. Whole packer briskets run between $4.99 and $6.19 a pound. Prime ribeye steaks average roughly $16.99 to $18.99 a pound. Try finding that at Whole Foods, where the same cut easily exceeds $25.99. But here's the butcher counter secret most shoppers don't know. Costco blade tenderizes many of its pre-cut steaks, which drives surface bacteria deep into the muscle and means you're supposed to cook them to well done. The workaround? Buy the whole uncut primal sub-roast still sealed in the cryovac bag. Because it hasn't been mechanically pierced, you can slice your own thick steaks at home and safely cook them rare or medium rare, while saving an extra 10 to 15% per pound by doing the butchery yourself. Best pick number 2. Kirkland Signature Organic Ground Beef. This 4-pound package is split into 3 vacuum-sealed 1.34-pound sleeves at an 85 to 15 lean-to-fat ratio, the exact ratio professional chefs prefer for optimal moisture without excess grease. It carries verified USDA organic certification, meaning no synthetic antibiotics and no growth hormones. At $6.21 a pound, it undercuts Whole Foods by $1.78 to $2.78 per pound. For a family of 4 eating 2 pounds a week, that's $185 to $289 in straight annual savings on a single product. Best pick number 3. Kirkland Signature Wild-Caught Sockeye Salmon. In an industry drowning in problematic farmed fish, this is the real deal. Sourced from Alaskan fisheries, MSC certified for sustainability, and carrying a deep red color that comes naturally from a wild diet of ocean krill, not from the synthetic astaxanthin they feed farmed salmon to disguise gray flesh. At $11.99 a pound, it undercuts Whole Foods by $1 to $3 per pound. The omega-3 profile is superior, the protein structure is cleaner, and you're not ingesting the prophylactic treatments used in offshore farming pens.